A dream honeymoon in the hills of Meghalaya turned into a chilling nightmare for Raja Raghuvanshi. A land known for its serene hills and cultural harmony is now in the headlines for this brutal crime that has shattered the peace. A murder that has not only claimed a life but has shaken the entire country to its core. A young Indore-based businessman, Raja Raghuvanshi, who got married to Sonam on May 11th, was found dead nearly 20 days after his wedding. According to the Meghalaya police, it was Raja Raghuvanshi's wife Sonam herself who orchestrated the murder and allegedly conspired with her boyfriend Raj Kushwaha. The police claims that the murder was meticulously planned as Raj stayed in touch over phone with three other contract killers, Akash, Vishal and Anand, who executed the crime on a deserted road. A charge Sonam has since denied. She says, Sonam is by the way in police custody, she says that she is a victim herself. Is there no value of life today? Is crime no longer a taboo for the young? We ask this because the crime in this and many other cases that are coming to light recently from cities across India is being carried out by young people, people in the age group of around 20 to 25, educated individuals, upwardly mobile, and for extremely avoidable reasons. These all seem like fiction that we are used to seeing on screen, but they're all becoming a blatant reality. Now take a look at this video, for example, that has now gone viral. Raj Kushwaha, who is one of the main accused from Madhya Pradesh, he's been arrested on charges of plotting to kill Raja Raghuvanshi, was seen at the deceased's funeral. He was known to the family. Raja Raghuvanshi's sister, in one of the videos on a social media handle, claimed that Raj Kushwaha, the accused, was there trying to console the family. Can you imagine the emotional depravity where you allegedly kill someone or hire someone to kill someone and then also show up at their house in the hour of their family's grief? As the Meghalaya murder mystery gets murkier, we break down to you how this plot was hatched and executed. The murder plot spreads to 4 states. Indore is of course where Raja Raghuvanshi, Sonam and Raj Kushwaha hail from. It was on May 11 that Raja and Sonam tied the knot. Shillong is the next place in focus, which is not generally on the list of honeymoon goers, but Raja's family claims that Sonam insisted on going to Shillong. Raja Raghuvanshi's body was then found in a gorge in East Khasi Hills on June 2. At this time, his wife was missing. After the murder, the Meghalaya police claims that Sonam fled to Guwahati with the assailants. Sonam, along with the other 3 contract killers, stayed in Guwahati for a day before leaving to different places. Sonam, accused of orchestrating her husband's murder in a dramatic turn of events, then surrendered at a dhaba in UP. As per the dhaba owner, Sonam reached the eatery around 1 a.m. and asked for help and a phone to contact her family, and it was on her brother's insistence that the dhaba owner informed the police from where she was picked up. So how did the police crack this case? Well, there are frequent contact and sharing of information that was on between Sonam and Raj all during this while, even when Sonam was in Meghalaya. The wedding videos also that have now gone viral indicate that Sonam was seemingly unhappy or certainly not happy during the ritual, sparking a debate if she was really wanting to marry Raja. Raja Raghuvanshi's gold chain, bracelet, wallet were all stolen, but the police says that there was no marks on Sonam and even her valuables were intact, indicating that she was not harmed by the assailants. Testimony from the guide, Albert, who was turned down by the Indore couple, also led police to uncover the Raja Raghuvanshi murder plot. He revealed to the police that he spotted the couple with 3 men. All fingers point to Sonam in this murder case. Cops claim that Sonam is said to have visited home after her marriage and planned her husband's murder with her alleged boyfriend Raj Kushwaha. Raja's family claims that it was Sonam who wanted to go to Meghalaya, as I said, and she booked the tickets. Raja was reportedly hesitant, but she convinced him to. Raja's mother claims that Sonam asked Raja to don a heavy gold chain during their honeymoon. This, cops believe, is to show that he was killed allegedly with an attempt for robbery. Cops claim that call data records show that Sonam was in constant touch with Raj Kushwaha during their visit to Meghalaya, and she shared their live location with Raj, who later shared it with the contract killers. The police further claims that Sonam led Raja to a deserted area where he was then murdered by the contract killers, reportedly hired by Sonam and Raj herself. So this is a honeymoon horror like nothing else, a murky murder tale. The question we ask is, has crime no longer remained a taboo for the young, even those who have a lot to lose.
She did not take this route, and on the other hand, she took Moneycontrol route, which has bad roads, which is not much used by tourists. So how did Sonam gather so much of information about Cherrapunji, Shillong, Cherrapunji, and then entire Meghalaya? That is the question that everyone is having.
सोनम स्कूल में लगे पुलिस को गुमराह कर रही है और कुछ नहीं कर रही है। सोनम इसमें मुख्य आरोपी पूरी सोनम ही है। सोनम का मास्टर प्लान है इसके अंदर। सोनम ने इतनी प्लान तक कर ली थी तो 13 तारीख के दिन ही राजा को मारना चाह रही थी। बताओ।
और राजा भैया को भी 2 दिन पहले ही पता चला था कि मैं मेघालय जा रहा हूँ।
जगह समय टिकट सब तय सोनम ने किया।
हाँ, सारी चीज़ें सोनम ने करी थी।
गलत दावा कर रहे हैं वो लोग, बिल्कुल 100% गलत दावा कर रहे हैं वो लोग। निराधार झूठ बोल रही है क्योंकि वहाँ की पुलिस फंस रही है उस मामले में, इसलिए वो लोग ये दावा, उल्टा दावा कर रहे हैं।
राज पे बड़े संगीन आरोप लगे हैं।
ये सब झूठ लगा भैया, सब झूठ। कभी मेरा राज ऐसा नहीं कर सकता।
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Sanjay Sahai is former IPS officer, Abha Singh, advocate, joining us. Dr. Neha Agarwal is a psychiatrist at Fortis Hospital, and Avishkar Singhvi is an advocate in the Supreme Court. I do thank you all for joining us. Dr. Neha, I want to begin with you. The biggest mystery in this case is that why would you marry someone if you were so opposed to the idea that you couldn't live with them, that you had to kill them if the allegations are indeed true? What could be the mental state of someone who agrees to marry someone and within days plans such a brutal murder, conspire with an alleged boyfriend, hire contract killers? These are not normal things.
Yeah, we live in a society where, marriages are often forced. So it's not always the person has a say into this, but yes, clearly this act is obviously not justified if it is true the accused is really guilty. But the thing is, there could be many aspects to this. We can see the why behind the acts after it has happened now. There could be psychological disturbances, of course. There could be dysregulation in emotions, and that is why we always encourage talking. We encourage seeking help. Whenever there is a dilemma, whenever there is emotional dysregulation, one should ask for help. One should seek help from a family, friends, if not a doctor, a psychologist, so that they can guide you through your emotional turmoil and not take such drastic steps.
Yeah, Abha Singh, do you feel like the entire story has come out? Do you feel there are still missing links that we don't understand? Because on the face of it, these don't seem individuals who could have been just forced by families. I could be wrong. And if that is the situation, of course, their families must cop a little bit of the blame. But we live in a world today where men and women both can say no. Right?
Yeah, absolutely true.
Sorry, that question is for Abha Singh, yes. But, instead of saying no, if at all you are forced into a situation, murdering your husband, and then what do you think? You're going to get away with it? No matter how much you plan, what is going to be of your life? So why are young today not caring about the consequences anymore?
Coming from Madhya Pradesh, which is a very traditional state, I'm sure this girl must have been wanting to marry her boyfriend, but her parents would have put pressure. So this marriage must have been forced upon her, and her young mind would have not thought of anything. Maybe her lover told her, doesn't matter, parents are getting you married, we will kill this man and you can come back to me. So, and the amount of these murders you see on social media, that you see how people gruesome, in what manner they are killed. So I think that there's enough where you can see this is not the first time. We all know the blue drum thing in Meerut, which happened the way they killed the husband, the girl killed the husband with the lover and froze him in cement. So it is a cold-blooded murder, thought about properly, because as you rightly said, that the wife booked the tickets, wife had planned it with her lover, The Raj Kushwaha got 3 men, and in Mumbai also, if you see, maximum of the suparis are given to these young boys of 2022 who come, kill, and go for a high, for a quick money. So I am not surprised. And also the law and order situation, if you see, conviction rate in murder cases is barely 40 to 50%. So they all know that getting good lawyers and the long way, the amount of years it takes, they will be out in 3-4 years, or they will all. There are chances that they can also go scot-free if the police is not able to put up a foolproof case. So seeing the sad state of judicial affairs in this country, definitely, and the police corruption, crime is on the rise. We are unable to control crime, and this clearly shows that we are unable to prevent crime from happening. Somebody can kill a person in a tourist place and there is no police. Nobody is able to prevent. I am grateful that Meghalaya police has worked out the case. But how this crime could happen in a small state? You buy the dao, you buy the mashit, then you take them somewhere, and then it takes you a week, and that too when all your the whole country is when media makes an issue out of it. So I'm not surprised. This girl, half the children at that age are now getting criminal. The amount of rapes that they're happening, the amount of murders. I had gone to a jail some time back, and when the jailer told me that maximum women in the jail at that time were for 302 murder. And I asked why. They said they are killing their husbands with their lover, and that is the most thing which
The interesting aspect, because Sanjay Sahai, these cases where women are conspiring with their alleged lovers to kill their husbands, some newly married, some even married for years, some even who have children, this is a rising trend.
See, I think we are living in an age where it is a social media generation. And being a social media generation, if something starts there and gets widely reported, and the nature of reporting on social media is very, very vitiated. And at times we find that most gruesome of the murder, I found supporters for most gruesome of the murder, where the accused is a woman, and they talk of some harassment. So they are not in a position to evaluate between the two options which they have. As far as this particular, this lady is concerned, she had an option of getting married or not getting married, and also the option that if she has gotten married, not to get into something of this nature. The worst part which is coming out today, that this generation is just unaware of the law. They are also unaware of the fact as to what will be their future after this sort of a crime is committed.
No, once again, Mr. Sahai, with due respect, how can they be so unaware that they don't know that murder is one of the most heinous crimes in Indian Penal Code? That everybody knows, even a child knows that.
Correct. Even if a child knows, right? If the child knows, and this particular lady also knows, and she knows she will have no future whatsoever if she commits this, then why is it happening? We have seen an instance in Bangalore also where everything is known, but still it happened. My understanding is either they don't understand or they feel that they are so smart enough
that they can get away with it.
They can get into a meticulous execution of a plan which itself is of a very great level, execute it in a manner, fool the police, fool the judiciary, fool the system and get away with it. And one thing, that they are using the social media and they are sold out to the social media. They are just unaware of the fact that the social media will come back and hit them on their face and pin them for all times to come. So the technology which they have for fancy, fun, frolic and getting together with paramours or boyfriends and killing husbands or whatever they are doing is exactly the same technology which is pinning them down. They are not aware of the fact that one click is sufficient enough to complete an investigation once and for all, and they will never be able to get out. Witness can change, but the technical evidence will not change. And
Absolutely.
in this particular case also, their whole movement is out because of the mobile triangulation of the tower.
Well, in today's day and age, I don't know if crime shows is having an impact where young people today feel that, you know, they can also plot some unsolvable murder. But in today's day and age, the first thing that any young person who is technologically advanced and, technologically savvy would know that there is a digital footprint for everything. Avishkar, what do you think is happening here? Because it seems a bit of a leap that instead of fighting your family, no matter how hard it may be, you instead choose the much worse path of killing your new husband?
Thank you for having me on your show. Well, I certainly think it's not one of those, it's not a case of ignorance of the law. It's certainly a case where they thought they could get away. And the elaborate plan which was hatched by Sonam along with the contract killers is prima facie at this stage. It seems that it is clear beyond reasonable doubt almost that she was behind it. And whatever may be the reason, whether it was the paramour instigating her, whether the accountant they had planned it before, but at each step of the way, like the learned IPS officer has said, that each step of the way they had left a digital footprint behind, and that is what will eventually spell doom for her in the trial. But you have to understand, take a step back and understand why our criminal justice system is helpless in these situations, because it's not a matter of there's no way to police these situations. Someone goes
and
on
these
a
are not
honeymoon.
and these are
Someone
not
goes on a honeymoon.
individuals who are so deprived that they're doing something out of economic conditions or something like that.
Yes.
These are purely crimes of passion.
Crimes of passion, and possibly crimes which were forced because of the fact that she was forced to marry someone she did not. There could be several explanations, but you cannot police a particular couple going on a honeymoon.
Yes, absolutely.
Where it's impossible to police. Point number one. Point number two here is that of course she'll be charged with under the BNSS section 101, 65, etc. But there should also be a charge on the other accomplices, and that is according to me in the long drawn trial that will play out. I think some of the accomplices may get away because of lack of evidence, and that is my real worry. We should wait till the charge sheet comes out. I think it's too early in the day to say the investigation is going on. And I think once all these things play out, but the police is, I think, done a good job so far. But I think they must make sure that in the charge sheet they put down each and every little detail
Absolutely.
to pin down the accomplices as well. Because
Dr.
I think
Neha,
there's
the influence of social media is being referred to a lot. We feel that the young mind is degenerating. I'm using a strong word, but I'm using this with great responsibility, that the young mind today is degenerating into doing all kinds of absolutely frivolous things, but dangerous things because of the influence of social media. Can you, for the benefit of our viewers, elaborate what are the impacts of social media? And for example, in this case, what is the problem of social media that may have impacted Sonam and others?
See, social media is today a performance act, not the reality. And people get lured by this illusion that how the happy marriages should be, the idea of love which is projected on the social media, and they want that lovey-dovey things, everything will be there, the dreams will come true, and everything will fall in place. They don't take a no for an answer. They can't stand or regulate their emotions when there is a no, when the wishes are not being fulfilled, and then they resort to such things because they are not able to regulate failures in life. And what to do when you face such a thing? Like, do you fight with your parents? Do you take a stand for yourself? Or do you just passively just plan something so elaborate and so criminal in your minds instead of taking the right course? So social media gives you the illusion and it places you into a dreamy world, one. Secondly, it also does not focus much on, like sir said, ki people are not knowing the law. They know the law, but they think they are more intelligent than that, because crime series are on a on a rise on all the OTT platforms.
Yes.
So this is whatever you see, it gets into your brain, right? And your mind thinks like that. So if you consume more of such criminal content.
May I ask, Abha Singh, do you think in a way crime has been normalized so much? Even regular, ordinary people committing murders, planning murders, do you think crime has become so normalized in our fiction watching life that those lines have blurred? I mean, who hires a contract killer? You have to be really at the end of your wits to do something like that. Who even knows a contract killer in normal life?
Not normalized, I would say one step further, it has been glamorized. Now you are talking of Lawrence Bishnoi, his juniors, Dawood Ibrahim, their glamorous lifestyle. So somewhere people are thinking, oh, this is a shortcut to glamour, money, stature. So they don't mind picking up the gun. That is one thing. Second is the defunct system in this country that you can commit murder and run away from there for 10 days. You are not to be found. This is not one case, many cases, so many cases go undetected.
Yeah.
You are unable to find people cross borders. If she had crossed into Nepal, you would have never arrested her. So these are the things, which we need to check, and I would say it's a law and order thing. 3 people getting a supari to murder this boy in Meghalaya. I mean, see the planning. And then sharing the location, that is another dangerous thing. That your mobiles can give away your location. And that is how they could track where this couple was.
But we can't fight that. That's technology. That's the world we live in. That's going to be no. I mean, in future, everybody's location is going to be known at all times. That doesn't mean that you commit a murder.
School kidnappings are taking place because children pictures are put up that they are here, they are there. So what I'm trying to say that the police really need to tighten up their working culture. They need to have CCTV cameras everywhere, and that is how they worked hard and they acted in collaboration. 4 states they could work out. The only solution is fear of the law, that people should know that if you commit a crime, you will not escape.
Well,
That
fear
will
of
be
the law is certainly what needs to be reinforced. But there is this rising trend of young people taking to a life of crime, which seems bizarre. And a lot of them are even be getting embroiled, for example, in espionage cases. A lot of cases involving YouTubers. That's the most dangerous path that we're on. I've run out of time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us.